Aw, yes. Guess what my name is? I'm behind. It's 8:20. We normally wrap these at 8:30, 8:35. So we're going to go hyper warp speed. We're going to play zoom out plus and hit play. Where does the edge lie in this game? Can we stop and discuss it? No, it is such a shame. Both players open with a gas first build on King Sejong Station. Where does the edge lie? We just don't know. We don't know. They're building Marines, as to be expected. They're both building a starport, as to be expected. There is no edge. No one has an edge. No reason to force an edge play. Uh-oh. MMA's defensive. He's a little bit more on the defense. Ooh. Now, what is so great about being the guy with the Banshee? Your opponent must stay defensive. We have the same stuff, but he must stay defensive because we have a Banshee out. Even if this Banshee should die, we must stay defensive. If we are Acer MMA, we must stay defensive. Most players will have to stay defensive. Ah, yes, there we go. Defensive. Defensive. We'll have to stay defensive. We'll have to stay defensive. Because we see the Banshees are out. So what does YoDa do? Be aggressive, I will. Nothing but straight balls out of YoDa. This move from MMA, we talked about how you needed to be straight defensive because you're up against a Banshee player. MMA was punished because he was aggressive against a dude who went Banshee. Now you might say, well, wait a minute, wait, I don't understand. MMA invested funds going for turrets. These funds were the opposite of building barracks. These funds were the opposite of building barracks. Notice how YoDa is done with 3 barracks. Boom! That's what happens when you try to get aggressive and play defensive at the same time. That's not your edge, MMA. Your edge was in La Défense. So YoDa punished him. YoDa decided that he should be made slain. And then YoDa was like, push it, I will. When 2 tanks siege at the same time, we find out that 2 is oftentimes bigger than 1. MMA receives a pair of knuckles to the face, along with 3 more shortly thereafter, because YoDa is not a dude with 2 hands. Drop it, I will. I mean, there's every edge going in his favor. You hear me talk about every edge. The only one, technically MMA has more barracks, but a lot of them are building add-ons, so these 3 barracks are actually more aggressive in the intermediary, and we see that represented in this unit count. W in units, I will. Oh my god. Oh, get absolute straight shit on. Here he comes, YoDa swinging in. There's a lot of different, interesting, complex ways to exploit an edge, but the existence of these edges is very, very simple. Simple, simple, simple. Oh, here are the other guys. I'm sorry, he is ahead of barracks. Nice. Learning at warp speed. GG. Alright, this is from WCS EU Grand Finals. Labs, the uncomfortable map, where we will see Acer MMA get smacked. Zooming out, hitting the D button, hitting the Control N button. Let's start this off by going to ×8, as it is 8:24. We did the last game in 4 minutes. Let us speed right ahead. Why is it so oddly planned? Shut up, I had a hard week. Both players beginning by going full pectory. Ah, interesting. Where does the edge lie? Better tech? Better economy? Guys, I give about as many fucks as a honey badger right now. There's caramel inside here. Mmm. Mmm. Oh, shit. Jesus. Where can you find a good signal that you are ahead in tech? If you opened gas, went for factory, and then you see a Reaper, guess what? You're ahead in tech. So how should you try to get ahead? With tech. With tech. With tech, with tech, with tech. With the Banshee or a drop. Or a Raven with an attack. Or a tank on top. Or if one base, a booty smack. I don't know, that's not actually a play, but it's something that rhymes. You know what I think this does? You know what I think about your defensive Banshee? What do I think about this? Tell me. Come on. Banshee pulling back, almost always super bad. But we saw a turret, and a turret, and a turret. The damage has been done. We are in charge. YoDa's the captain. YoDa's seriously lifting some X-Wing fires out of a swamp right now. Oh my god. Where is MMA's edge? Is it in tank count? No! YoDa should be ahead in tank count, because he got his tech structures up faster. MMA, ahead in Marines. Ooh! Mobility to him. Boom! Now you're thinking like a pro gamer. That's right, now you're thinking with portals. 2 and 1. Ooh. Head Marines behind the tanks. Ooh. It's almost as though things I say make sense. Oh my god, caramel chocolate. Holy god. So YoDa is behind in supply, but he's probably ahead in tanks, because he teched first. He got his tank production started early. If you don't know if you're ahead in something, do I have more tanks? Am I ahead in tech? Am I behind in barracks units? Do what you think is the simplest correct answer, and just leverage that. So if you think you're ahead in tanks, what should you do? Get into a good position outside his base, and then siege up, and take a shit on him. If you think you're ahead in barracks, if you think you're ahead in mobility, try to do fancy drops. Try to do fancy drops. Like that. My name is MMA. That's the end of the song, alright? He just wanted you to know what his name is. Sorry, I was eating chocolate and it was stuck in my teeth. This is good. This is not exactly a show, but this is good. Alright. Having a lead in tanks means that you should attack straight. Having a lead in bio means that you should attack around. Because these are the things that you can do safely. MMA gets scanned with his pants down. How embarrassing. It's basically the way that it works in America with the NSA looking over you. Scan into the main base. Reveals no pants. Up and away. I think drops in the main base when you have a tank lead are only good if you can guarantee everybody gets in there. Every single person can get in the main. And that's great, as you can see. Evidenced. Proof of one. Final game. Unraveling the last chunk of chocolate. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. Overgrowth, a very close map with close positions. You know what I hate? This place. Tanks here? Oh yeah. Kills it here. MMA goes for a little bit of a crazy style. Guess what YoDa goes for? An early expand. Hold on, let me... Really good. That's not the right button. There we go. Alright, what we're seeing out of YoDa is an early expand where he is behind on tech. Behind on tech. Now, if you can deal damage with Banshees, that's great. I also think that if you haven't been trying this, to begin to try it, if you think you are ahead on tech, just go Marines, Tanks, Banshees. Boom. Get a Raven and a Viking in there, that's cool. But don't forget to get Banshees. This is a ridiculously strong push. A very strong push. This widow mine would behoove a placement at the front. Because when your opponent is excuse me, a little bit behind, Banshee dies, YoDa still cries. Win games easily, faster, with more chocolate. We did game 1 slow, game 2 reasonably, and then all the rest at utter warp speed. Let's take questions. Bam! In short, I thought that this was a winged daily. No problem not to wing it. Rhinua asked a great question that I need to finish this for. Day 9, you kept saying in game 1 that MMA tricked YoDa into going for more air. But if YoDa didn't fall for the trick, wouldn't he have lost anyways? Yes. Wasn't MMA doing more forcing YoDa into air instead of tricking him into it? Yes. I don't recall saying tricking, but if I did, Rhinua, excuse me, is absolutely correct. It's a way to force, because you're trying to exploit composition. You don't have good anti-air as mech, so I'm going to get some air. Ah, I'm building air now. You better build Vikings. Splice Stream says, Day 9, I signed up on Arsenal a long time ago, but never heard back. Is there some trick to getting into the beta? The first trick is to realize that we are called Artillery and not Arsenal. Arsenal is a soccer team in the UK. That's the trick. Ding. Chocolate. Perem Diner says, Dana, what do you think about Twitch allowing Dogecoin for subscriptions? I don't know why anyone would have an opinion. Let's see here. Nuclear Procraft says, how do you do that Marine tank Banshee push? With Marine tanks and Banshees. Alright, let's see. On fire. Kilgar8 says, what are your favorite cons of Tarkir clan? Probably Rogue. To Lee Dog says, how does a noob play this game? Do it backwards. Oh my god. Hold on. Oh. Okay, I'm back. Pulling myself together. Vexon837 says, Day 9, if I were to grow a beard, would the universe implode from sheer awesomeness? Depends. It depends. You have a username with some numbers after it, which means either you made an account in the 1990s or you're 11. So, let's see. Captain Aegis says, we are watching Day 9 ascend to the next level of existence through his chocolate. Probably, I would say, to early expand and transition into blank stalkers. Let's see, what else? Runamuck says, what do you think of the clash of styles between what 4GG is more known for, Mass Hellions, versus a standard Marine tank comp that utilizes tanks for more positional advantage? I think that if you are doing the more 4GG Hellion heavy style, you have to do something awesome behind it, like expand more, deal more damage. You must know that tanks are the core concept. So if you are deviating from that, it has to somehow relate back to tanks. It's not a different thing. You should... It's not like, oh, I'm Hellioning because we're a different style. You're going to Hellion because you're going to go into tanks, because the only reason you're going Hellion is because you have a lot of factories. And you know what? A lot of factories help you build tanks, and you can't get anything else useful out of those except tanks. So, that was the worst explanation ever. You have some really important core units. The tank and the Marine are the two important core units in TVT. So if you're going Hellion, you can't go Marine, you don't have the barracks, so you have to go for the tank. So if you're doing something like 4GG, again, you will wind up being a tanking dude at some point. So you have to know what your setup is for that. Moving the Hellions forward to get your eventually tanks in the good position. You could kill a whole bunch of SCVs to make sure that when you get tanks, you have a better economy, so you can get even more tanks. You want to get an expansion so you can get even more tanks. Something like that. Vexon837 says, what is wrong with having a handle from the from the 90s? Nothing's wrong. My handle's from the 90s. No, it isn't. His Magic says, Day 9, is it even possible to achieve perfect balance in any RTS with different races? With alternating caps like that? My answer to that is, what does that mean? It cannot be 50.1%. It must be 50%. Is this possible? My answer to that would be, who cares? Why? Is it awesome? I think awesome is good. I think awesome is good. If you have 3 distinct races, and when they play against each other, it's awesome. Boom. No one ever sat down and said, let us play Monopoly due to perfect balance. They played it because they want an excuse to get lucky, have their friend land on their property, and take their money. Let's see here. Fillmore asks something, but I can't see because he's perm banned on my channel. Oh my god, my bad. Biedrick says, Day9, is it possible to achieve perfect awesome in an RTS? Yes, Brood War did it. I ate too much chocolate. I'm gonna unzip my pants. I've hit that age where if I feel a little fat at the time, I actually undo my pants and just let it zzz, and then I go. Okay, so Ultra Narful says, Dan, I won't be seeing the RTS game and working on. It's called Atlas, by the way. Any form of rough estimate is appreciated. No worries. We're going to do it between Legacy of the Void and Half-Life 3. Tanelos says, love me a Red Bull DC. You're awesome. No, you're awesome, Tanelos. Jaral says, will LoL evolve into StarCraft 3? Yes, because Riot will evolve into Blizzard and vice versa. Mayday says, Dana, will you be at BlizzCon? My coy answer is very coy. Italians, what is the most standard build order in TVT? It is to debate whether you want to split your money in the finals or keep it all for yourself. What else? Let's see here. Mr. Leidenbrock says, am I doing more or less StarCraft in the future? Yeah, more or less. What Roll to Rax says, Dean, will you really be taking a day off in Halloween? Yes. Tuesdahl says, Day 9, is it ever a good idea to go 4 hatch before pool if you see a Nexus first or CC first build? No, do it. Last question. Ken Sykes says, do you think ghosts are vastly overpowered against Protoss players as they remove virtually all their shields and cutting their life in half? Well, what I've learned is that no matter how overpowered an ability, you can always find your peers who find it way underpowered at www.reddit.com/r/StarCraft. I will see you tomorrow for the 5-year anniversary of the daily. I don't even know what I'll do even, but I'm going to figure it out. And I'm done.